Have you ever thought that the material world around you is finite, but spirituality is infinite? Is there a deeper truth we cannot see with our physical eyes, a connection between the material and spiritual realms that we haven't fully explored yet? The world we live in is so tangible, filled with things we can see, touch, and measure. But beyond the material world lies something much deeper, something intangible: spirituality. It's a concept that transcends the limits of time and space, and yet we often find ourselves caught up in the physical world, rarely stopping to consider the vastness of the spiritual realm. What if in our busy lives we've overlooked the potential for spiritual awakening, or missed the connection that exists between the world we see and the world we cannot see? What if by understanding the relationship between the material and spiritual realms, we could unlock a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment in our lives? This is what we'll explore today. In this video, we'll delve into the finite nature of the material world we live in and why spirituality holds an infinite mysterious quality. The material world, no matter how vast or complex, has its limits. Everything we see around us, our bodies, our possessions, our surroundings, exists within certain boundaries. Things are born, grow, and eventually decay. This cycle is an inherent part of the physical world. But what about the world of spirituality? Why is it often referred to as infinite? Spirituality offers us something beyond the physical, beyond time, space, and even death. It's not bound by the rules of the material world, and it holds the key to experiences that transcend our everyday understanding. But how do we tap into this infinite quality of spirituality? Together we'll look at the ways the material and spiritual worlds are different, but also how they can connect in meaningful ways. What are the boundaries of the material world, and how do they influence our lives? How does spirituality with its boundless nature play a role in shaping our perception of the world and ourselves? By exploring these questions, we'll uncover how understanding both the finite and the infinite can help us live more meaningful, fulfilling lives. Our material experiences provide us with valuable lessons, but it's in our spiritual understanding that we find the freedom to live beyond the limitations of the physical world. We're also going to discuss how spirituality can help us transcend the limitations we feel in our material existence. Whether we're facing challenges, feeling trapped by circumstances, or simply seeking more meaning in our lives, spirituality offers us the tools to find peace and insight no matter the situation. It's a connection to something greater that can help us navigate the complexities of the physical world with a deeper sense of purpose and calm. This video will give you the opportunity to reflect on how the material and spiritual realms shape your life, and how understanding the balance between the two can lead to greater clarity and freedom. Before we begin, don't forget to like and share this video if you find it interesting. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe to catch more videos about spirituality, philosophy, and deep life topics. Let's dive in and explore how understanding both the finite nature of the material world and the infinite nature of spirituality can lead us to a more fulfilling existence. Let's begin by examining the world around us, the material world. The material world is everything that we can see, touch, and measure. It's the realm of physical objects, natural phenomena, and living beings. From the air we breathe to the ground beneath our feet, everything in the material world exists within certain boundaries. These boundaries, whether they are physical, biological, or temporal, define the limits of the material world and everything within it. Think about the things you can see right now, your surroundings, the objects around you, the people in your life. Every single thing you see is part of this material world. But here's the catch. Everything in this world is temporary. It's limited by time, space, and the laws of nature. Nothing in this world is permanent, and no matter how hard we try, we cannot escape the cycle of change that governs the material realm. From the smallest grain of sand to the tallest mountain, everything in the material world is subject to decay and transformation. The trees grow and die, animals are born live and eventually pass away, and even human beings experience the inevitability of life's end. All the physical matter around us, whether it's the house we live in, the car we drive, or the technology we rely on, is destined to break down and fade away over time. This is the nature of the material world. It is finite, temporary, and subject to the inexorable passage of time. One of the most obvious aspects of the material world is the cycle of birth, existence, decay, and death. This cycle is the very essence of what makes the material world finite. Every living being, whether it's a human, an animal, or a plant, has a life cycle. They are born, they live, they change, and eventually they die. In the natural world, everything follows this cycle. It's the way nature works, and it's something that cannot be avoided. Take the example of a plant. A seed is planted and it begins to grow. Over time, it develops roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. It exists for a time, contributing to the ecosystem, providing oxygen, food, and beauty. But eventually, the plant will reach the end of its life cycle. It will wither, decay, and return to the earth. This is true for every living organism. Everything must eventually face the process of decay and death. It's part of the natural order. The same cycle applies to the non-living world. Even the most durable materials like metal and stone undergo wear and tear. Mountains erode over time, buildings crumble, and even the stars in the sky eventually burn out. The same forces of time, change and decay that affect living things also govern the non-living world. Every material thing in this universe is part of an ongoing process of transformation, where things are created, exist for a while, and then eventually fade away. Even civilizations go through this cycle. Ancient empires that once ruled the world, like the Romans, Egyptians, and Aztecs, have crumbled and disappeared. Buildings, cities, and technologies that were once considered indestructible eventually succumb to the passage of time. The rise and fall of civilizations is another demonstration of the finite nature of the material world. No matter how powerful, how advanced, or how enduring something may seem in the moment, everything is subject to the inevitable process of change, decay, and eventual demise. The cycle of birth, existence, decay, and death is a fundamental aspect of the material world. This is a cycle that governs all things, both living and non-living, from the smallest particle to the grandest galaxy. It is the reality we face as human beings living in a finite world. So why is the material world finite? What makes it so bound by the laws of time, space, and decay? To answer this question, we need to understand the inherent limitations of material things. First, everything in the material world is subject to the laws of physics and nature. The laws of thermodynamics, for example, govern how energy flows and transforms in the universe. One of these laws, known as the second law of thermodynamics, states that in any system, energy tends to disperse and become less usable over time. This is why systems naturally tend to move toward a state of entropy or disorder. It's a fundamental property of the physical universe that everything, no matter how organized, will eventually break down and fall into disorder. Similarly, the physical nature of matter itself is limited by space and time. Matter can only exist in specific locations in the universe, and it exists for a finite period of time. From the birth of a star to its death, from the formation of a planet to its eventual destruction, everything follows a cycle dictated by the laws of physics and nature. Nothing can escape the process of change that is embedded into the fabric of the material world. In addition to the laws of nature, there is also the impermanence of material existence. All things of the material world are made up of particles that are constantly in motion. These particles, from atoms to molecules, are constantly changing, rearranging, and interacting with one another. This constant state of flux is what gives rise to the physical world as we know it. But because everything is in constant motion, nothing can remain exactly as it is forever. Things wear down, decay, and eventually cease to exist in their current form. The material world as we experience it is fundamentally impermanent. From a more philosophical perspective, the finiteness of the material world can be seen as part of the larger cycle of life and death that gives meaning to existence. The temporary nature of material things is what makes them valuable in the moment. It's why we cherish relationships, experiences, and possessions while we have them, because we know they won't last forever. The knowledge that everything is finite adds urgency to our lives and encourages us to make the most of our time. The limits of the material world help us define what's truly important and give us a sense of purpose as we navigate our finite existence. Understanding the finite nature of the material world is essential for our personal and spiritual growth. When we accept that the physical world and everything in it is temporary, we can begin to shift our focus to what truly matters, the deeper, more lasting aspects of our lives. We can begin to prioritize our relationships, our experiences, and our connection to the spiritual realm, knowing that these things transcend the temporary nature of material existence. Moreover, accepting the finiteness of the material world helps us confront the reality of death. Rather than fearing death or avoiding thoughts about it, we can embrace the impermanence of life and use it as a reminder to live more fully. When we acknowledge the fleeting nature of time, we are more likely to appreciate the present moment and make decisions that align with our true values and desires. Have you ever thought about the finiteness of the material world and realized that everything around us has an end? Whether it's the objects we hold dear, the relationships we cherish, or even our own time on this earth, everything is bound by the laws of time and change. Like this video, if you find this idea intriguing, and comment below to share your thoughts on the material world. How has your understanding of the finiteness of life shaped the way you live and make decisions? Now that we've explored the finite nature of the material world, let's turn our focus to something far beyond the physical realm, the infinite nature of spirituality. Spirituality is a concept that, although it cannot be seen or touched, plays a fundamental role in our lives. But what exactly is spirituality, and why is it considered infinite? Spirituality is the intangible, invisible part of us that transcends the boundaries of the material world. Unlike the physical objects around us that we can measure, weigh and quantify, spirituality is not something that can be touched or seen in the conventional sense. It is the essence of who we are on a deeper, more profound level. It's the part of us that connects to something greater than our physical selves, whether that's the universe, a higher power, or the collective consciousness of humanity. Spirituality is the source of our sense of meaning, purpose, and connection to everything that exists. What makes spirituality infinite? The key lies in its very nature. While the material world is bound by time and space, spirituality is not. Spirituality exists beyond the limits of the physical realm. It's not confined by the constraints of matter or the passing of time. It is timeless, boundless, and expansive. This is why spirituality is often described as infinite. It has no end, no limits, no boundaries. It can deepen endlessly, revealing new layers of insight, wisdom, and understanding. Unlike the material world where everything is finite and subject to decay, spirituality is eternal. While the physical world operates within a framework of beginnings and endings, spirituality exists in a realm of infinite possibility. This infinite nature of spirituality allows it to transcend the limitations of time and space. We may be bound by the physical laws of the universe, but our spiritual nature is limitless. It has the ability to connect with all things in the universe, past, present, and future, and can transcend the boundaries that define our material existence. One of the most profound aspects of spirituality is how it allows us to connect with the universe. The universe in all its vastness is often seen as a complex system of interconnected forces and energies. Everything in the universe is connected, from the stars in the sky to the atoms that make up every living being. Spirituality is the thread that weaves us into this vast cosmic tapestry. When we connect with our spirituality, we are not only connecting with ourselves, but with the entire universe around us. This connection to the universe is what allows us to experience a sense of unity and oneness with all things. When we are spiritually aware, we recognize that we are not isolated beings living in a disconnected world. Instead, we are part of a much greater whole, a vast and infinite universe that is constantly evolving. Spirituality helps us tap into this deep understanding, reminding us that everything is interconnected. In moments of spiritual connection, we experience a sense of inner peace and a knowing that we are part of something much greater than ourselves. These moments can be as simple as a quiet walk in nature, where we feel at one with the world around us, or as profound as a moment of enlightenment where we feel deeply connected to the entire universe. It is during these moments that we glimpse the infinite nature of spirituality, when we feel the vastness of the universe flowing through us and experience a sense of boundless peace. When we find inner peace or feel connected to something greater than ourselves, it is in these moments that we realize just how infinite spirituality truly is. Spirituality does not follow the laws of the material world. It cannot be limited by time or space, and it offers us a sense of freedom that is not found in the material world. It allows us to transcend the worries and limitations that we face in our physical existence and experience a deeper, more expansive reality. So why is spirituality infinite? To understand this, let's explore a few key reasons why spirituality cannot be confined by space, time, or matter. First, spirituality is timeless. Unlike material objects that have a beginning and an end, spirituality is not bound by time. Spirituality exists outside the framework of past, present, and future. It is eternal, and its depth can never be fully measured. No matter how much we explore or how many spiritual practices we engage in, there is always more to discover. The infinite nature of spirituality means that we are always evolving, always expanding, always moving closer to a greater understanding of ourselves and the universe. Second, spirituality transcends physical boundaries. The material world is made up of physical matter which is confined to specific locations in space. Everything in the material world is bounded by the laws of physics and is limited by the space it occupies. Spirituality, however, is not limited by any of these physical constraints. It can reach into the farthest corners of the universe, connect with beings across time and space, and transcend the limitations of the physical body. This is why spirituality is often described as infinite. It is not confined to any physical structure or location, and it is not limited by the same rules that govern the material world. Third, spirituality can experience infinite depths. While the material world is limited to what we can see and touch, spirituality allows us to delve deeper into the mysteries of existence. It has no boundaries in terms of how far we can go in our exploration of the self and the universe. The more we connect with our spirituality, the deeper we can go. This infinite depth is what makes spirituality so transformative. As we explore our spiritual nature, we uncover new layers of insight, understanding, and wisdom. Every step on our spiritual journey leads us to a deeper connection with ourselves, with others, and with the universe. Finally, spirituality connects us with all things. One of the key aspects of spirituality is its ability to connect us to everything around us. While the material world is made up of separate objects and individuals, spirituality recognizes the unity of all things. It allows us to experience the interconnectedness of the universe and realize that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. This connection is infinite because it stretches beyond the physical world and reaches into the very fabric of existence. When we connect with our spirituality, we become part of this infinite web of connection that binds everything together. So what do you think about the infinite nature of spirituality? Have you ever experienced the infinite nature of spirituality in your life? Maybe you've had moments of deep connection, peace, or enlightenment that made you feel like you were part of something much bigger than yourself. I would love to hear about your experiences. Like this video if you find this concept interesting, and comment below to share your thoughts on spirituality. Have you felt its infinite nature in your life? What has it meant for you to connect with something beyond the material world? Now that we've explored the finite nature of the material world and the infinite nature of spirituality, it's time to examine how these two realms, seemingly so different, can connect and complement each other in our lives. Why do we need both? What purpose does this connection serve, and how can we use it to navigate our daily lives? While the material world has clear limits, spirituality offers us the infinite to help us transcend these boundaries. This connection between the finite and the infinite is essential because it allows us to navigate our existence with a deeper sense of meaning and understanding. The material world provides us with the tangible, the practical aspects of life: our bodies, our relationships, our homes, our work. These things are necessary for our survival, for growth, and for experiencing life on this physical plane. However, without spirituality, we may feel incomplete, as though something is missing. Spirituality offers us a deeper purpose, a connection to something greater than ourselves. It helps us see beyond the physical world and its limitations, giving us a sense of peace and clarity even amidst the chaos of daily life. The material world may have boundaries, but spirituality allows us to transcend those boundaries, find balance, and connect to the infinite nature of our souls. This balance between the material and spiritual realms helps us overcome the challenges we face and find a deeper meaning in everything we do. For example, in times of hardship, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the limitations of the material world. Financial struggles, health issues, or emotional challenges can make us feel as though we are trapped within the confines of our circumstances. But when we connect with our spirituality, we realize that there is more to life than what we can see, feel, or touch. Spirituality offers us a sense of purpose and the strength to rise above the physical limitations, allowing us to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. It gives us the perspective that our physical struggles are temporary and that there is something eternal within us that cannot be diminished by the trials of the material world. You may be wondering, how do we apply the infinite nature of spirituality in our physical lives? How do we make the intangible tangible? The good news is that spirituality is not something separate from our daily existence. It can be woven into every aspect of our lives. We can carry the infinite nature of spirituality with us as we navigate the material world, and it doesn't require us to withdraw from the world or live in isolation. In fact, spirituality can help us engage more fully with the material world, live with purpose, and create positive change. One of the ways we apply spirituality is by recognizing and embracing spiritual values in our action, relationships, and choices. Spiritual values like compassion, kindness, gratitude, forgiveness, and love are universal principles that transcend physical boundaries. These values guide how we treat others and ourselves, how we approach the challenges in our lives, and how we create meaningful connections. By integrating these values into our daily lives, we align ourselves with the infinite nature of spirituality, creating harmony between our physical existence and our deeper spiritual essence. For instance, when facing a difficult situation at work or in a relationship, we can choose to act from a place of inner peace and compassion, rather than reacting out of fear or frustration. Spirituality teaches us to rise above our immediate emotional reactions and connect with a higher perspective. It encourages us to look at situations with understanding and empathy, recognizing that we are all part of a larger whole, and that each challenge is an opportunity for growth and learning. Spirituality also enables us to find meaning and purpose in the mundane aspects of life. When we approach life with a spiritual mindset, even everyday tasks like cooking dinner, taking care of our families, or working at a job become acts of service, gratitude, and connection. By viewing these activities through the lens of spirituality, we can infuse them with purpose and intention rather than seeing them as just mundane responsibilities. This perspective can transform the way we experience the material world, allowing us to find fulfillment and satisfaction in the simplest moments. Moreover, spirituality helps us experience love in its purest form. Love is not just an emotion, it is the spiritual force that connects us to others and to the universe. When we open ourselves to love, we begin to understand that love is not limited by the material world's boundaries. It is a powerful, infinite energy that flows through us and beyond us. By cultivating love in our hearts and expressing it through our actions, we bridge the gap between the material and the spiritual. This love brings healing, connection and peace both in our personal lives and in the world around us. To truly experience the connection between the material world and spirituality, we can incorporate spiritual practices into our daily routines. These practices help us transcend the limitations of the physical world and connect with the infinite nature of our spiritual selves. By engaging in spiritual practices, we can elevate our consciousness and align our actions with a higher purpose. One of the most powerful spiritual practices is meditation. Meditation helps quiet the mind, allowing us to access a deeper state of awareness and connection with the universe. Through regular meditation, we can step beyond the noise and distractions of the material world and tap into the infinite wisdom and peace that resides within us. Meditation helps us cultivate mindfulness, presence, and spiritual clarity, which in turn enhances our ability to navigate the material world with grace and intention. It's a practice that reminds us that while the material world may be temporary, our spiritual essence is eternal. Another spiritual practice is prayer. Prayer is a way to communicate with the divine, to seek guidance, express gratitude, and find solace. Whether you pray to a higher power, to the universe, or simply to your inner self, prayer allows you to connect with the infinite and bring that connection into your physical life. Prayer reminds us that we are not alone, that there is something greater than ourselves guiding us, and that we can always turn to that source for strength, wisdom, and support. Mindfulness is another spiritual practice that helps us transcend the material world's limitations. Mindfulness encourages us to be fully present in the moment, to observe our thoughts and actions without judgment, and to engage with the world around us with awareness and compassion. When we practice mindfulness, we become more attuned to the spiritual nature of our lives, recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to connect with the infinite. Whether we're walking, eating, working, or having a conversation, mindfulness helps us stay connected to the deeper aspects of our existence, allowing us to live with more purpose and intention. By integrating these spiritual practices into our daily lives, we begin to experience the infinite nature of spirituality in our material world. These practices help us rise above the limitations of the physical realm and connect with the eternal, providing us with a sense of peace, purpose, and clarity. They allow us to transcend the struggles and challenges of the material world, reminding us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by the spiritual essence that exists within us. When you connect with spirituality, do you feel like the limits of the material world disappear? Do you experience a sense of peace, freedom, and clarity that transcends the challenges of everyday life? Spirituality has the power to transform the way we experience the world, helping us live with purpose and find meaning in even the most mundane moments. I would love to hear how you connect with spirituality in your daily life. Do you practice meditation, prayer, or mindfulness? How has spirituality helped you overcome the limitations of the material world? Like this video if you resonate with the idea of connecting spirituality to your material life, and comment below to share your personal experiences. Let's continue this conversation and explore how we can bridge the gap between the material and spiritual realms to live more fulfilling lives. Today we explored the finite nature of the material world and the infinite nature of spirituality. We've seen how the material world, although vast and intricate, has clear limits, whether in the form of time-space or the inevitable decay of all things. Every physical object, every living being, and even the systems that sustain life must eventually face the reality of change, growth, and ultimately an end. While these limitations define our existence in the material world, they also remind us of the transient nature of everything we hold dear. However, as we delved into spirituality, we discovered that it offers something entirely different. It offers infinity. Spirituality transcends the boundaries of the physical world, providing a space where we can experience peace, connection, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. It is in this infinite realm that we can find clarity, freedom, and a profound sense of unity with the universe around us. Spirituality teaches us that even though we live in a material world full of limits and challenges, we are not confined by those limits. Our connection to the spiritual realm allows us to move beyond the restrictions of our physical existence and access a much broader perspective. While the material world is a vital part of our lives, it is through spirituality that we tap into something eternal, something that never fades. By embracing spirituality, we can expand our awareness and recognize that there is so much more to life than what we can see, touch, and measure. Spirituality gives us the tools to transcend the material world's boundaries, providing us with a sense of direction and purpose that goes beyond our physical circumstances. It opens us to an infinite space where we can connect with a deeper version of ourselves and experience the world in a more meaningful way. Although we live in a material world with limits, when we connect with spirituality, we experience the infinite and expand our awareness. By tuning into our spiritual nature, we realize that we are not limited by the physical world's constraints. Instead, we are infinite beings with endless potential, capable of growing, learning, and evolving in ways that are beyond the material world's understanding. This infinite nature of spirituality offers us freedom from the fear of death, from the anxiety of time running out, and from the limitations of our physical bodies. Spirituality helps us see beyond the challenges we face and offers us a perspective that allows us to grow, heal, and experience life in a more connected and compassionate way. Spirituality is the key to living a more meaningful life. By embracing the infinite nature of spirituality, we free ourselves from the constraints of material existence and step into a world of possibilities, wisdom, and profound connection. Whether it's finding inner peace, living with purpose, or experiencing love and compassion, spirituality provides us with the foundation to transcend the boundaries of our physical lives. It encourages us to explore the depths of our consciousness, to seek truth, and to live with a greater sense of awareness and authenticity. When we connect with our spirituality, we are no longer limited by the material world's constraints. We can experience the fullness of life in all its dimensions, both physical and spiritual. So what do you think about the connection between the material world and spirituality? Do you believe that spirituality offers a way to transcend the limitations of the physical world? Have you ever experienced the infinite nature of spirituality in your life? Whether through moments of peace, connection, or personal transformation, spirituality has a profound impact on how we see and live in the world. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share them in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and explore how spirituality can help us navigate life's challenges and discover deeper meaning. Don't forget to like and share if you found this video helpful. And remember to subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more videos on spirituality, philosophy, and life's deep questions. We've only scratched the surface, and I can't wait to dive deeper into these topics with you in the future.